Yeah, the Clover Kingdom is completely fucked at the moment because let's just go and take every single powerful knight in the vicinity and just plop them into the middle of nowhere and finding out what their actual motives are for this entire invasion. Why it was like, let's just have a few of us come here, and turns out they played everyone for a fool because it wasn't the king they wanted, it wasn't Julius that they wanted, it was for the Goleon after all of this. And it was like, why would they want the Crimson Lions King? And you see it right at the immediate part as he started disappearing. Yeah, unfortunately the Clover Kingdom is now a lot more emptier, and having a side of Yuno getting his first real, I'd like to say this is the first proper fight he's really had in the series, like against an actual opponent and not just fodder. So definitely I felt like there were three parts to this episode. You had the entirety of the Magic Knights with them disappearing, you had Asta's side with the Goleon, and then you had Yuno's side with fighting with Charlotte, I believe her name was, like Charlotte the Witch, where their fight was entirely going every single, like, we're talking about, like, you know, the Blue Rose, we're talking about, like, Sylvia, Golden Dawn, everyone. The only person that was able to escape that in the last second was Yuno, and that was because of his little spirit was actually able to guide him out of there and actually predict that moment. And it was like, okay, so now we've only got a few people. We've got some of the Black Bulls left here. We've got Noelle, we've got Asta, who's pretty beat up, we've got Fagolion, who just decimated right as it wasn't in the content. We do get, there was a nice moment, I will say, like, to go with, like, Thagolion and the rest of people, where we saw Leo when him and Noelle were actually teaming up to take care of, like, the last of Radis's cronies. I kind of like that a little bit. It's like, you can actually see, oh, like, showing immediately that these guys are working together. It's like, fuck, we don't care if you're nobles, we don't care if, like, you're lower than us, like, if you're not of the same cloth, who cares? And just go around fighting together. And it's like, I kind of like that. It's, if anything, like, I like Leo a lot as a character. Like, I definitely would like to see him in, like, a game or something, because I don't know, I think there's just something about, like, his, like, he is pretty much, like, like, if anything, his powers from what we've seen is the Natsu Dragon Eel of, like, this series, although he's a lot more likable than Natsu, which is a little weird thing for me to say, I know, after, like, reviewing Fairy Tail for so long. He's just like, I don't know, he's just a spunky kid. He's just like, that's all he is. He's just like, I'm pepped up, I am hyped, I'm ready to go. And he at the end of the day, he just wants to help people. That's all that Leo gives a shit about. There's no fucking other shit around him. It's just like, he's a good kid. That's all that's about him. And when we're going into that, we get to see more of Yuno's fight with Charlotte, where he is getting blasted by curse magic. This bitch, just all she is doing is draining the citizens of their, like, youth. Like, she's like, oh, make me more pretty. Like, she's pretty fucking one-dimensional for the like, from what we see of her, she's just like, oh, I'm pretty. Oh, you called me an hag? Then yeah, you die. That's pretty much all that she fucking did. Like, don't pretend that there's something here going on. I mean, for the most part of that fight, like, Yuno got pretty wrecked. Like, I will say, if anything, like, as I always do mention it as well, because there's two sides of always of this episode. It's always talking about, like, hey, the story, how good it was, like, for this week or not. And then also as well, I say the one bit where there's like, okay, I saw a little bit of cheap part saving on the animation part on there, and kind of like when Yuno was literally sliding around, you could actually see, it's like, yeah, let's just click and drag this animation just here, and I'm like, ooh, that's not looking good. And there was some cross-eyed looking motherfuckers, like, in the no-name crowds, but, like, I'll forgive more of the no-name crowds, but I was like, with Yuno, I was like, ooh, that does not look good there. It's like, and so I'm not going to pretend that, but with him, the fact that he was able to even concentrate, like, where it's like, I'm developing this sixth sense of just sensing mana all around me. This is what one of the things what he was able to do, and this is something that they foretold as well when it was like, this is wind style magic users can actually do this because they can actually sense around themselves. And like the fact that is like he is hating himself. He's like, I couldn't do anything against Mars. I have been failing ever since I've become like a Golden Dawn member. Like, I have not been able to step up to the plate, and I need to do it now, and I cannot stand it that like Asta's getting ahead of me. So he is pulling out all the stops and finally able to control the little silk thing. I don't mention the little shorts that they have, but I will say like the little short with like not even with Asta, but with like Yuno and Sylph. I thought that was actually kind of like funny. I kind of I forget like I know the Sylph thing has an actual name, but it was like I think it's Belle. I think it's like is the actual thing's called, but it's like it was a cute little thing. I overall enjoyed, and the fact that we saw Fagolion like getting taken away at the end of the episode, he's like, pure, and it's like, oh, we're now going to get into it now, seeing all that shit, and it's like, clearly he knows who that is, and they're after that gem. So these gems are what they've been looking for all the time. Same thing that we had with Asta during the first arc. So it's slowly, this ball is slowly being wound up into something. Like, something big's now about to go happen. And I like that the show, recently they showed a nice, beautiful, like, kind of new visual for, like, the show, and showing a lot of characters that are going to be appearing there. And there are some characters I'm really looking forward to, especially with the current, like, stuff going on in the manga right now. So overall, really like this, like, episode. I definitely really liked it. A little cheap here and there from the size and all that. Like, mainly it's because I've been going back, like, comparing the manga panels now, and I'm like, yeah, they did look good as that part there, but then again, it does help a lot with some, like, they do some really stellar stuff. Like, obviously last week's, like, looked really fucking good at some points, but overall, I'm very curious to see what you guys thought as well in the comment section down below. But that's all for me. Thanks always for watching. I'll see you guys, though, next time.